With Tim Hortons 2 hot breakfast sandwiches for $6 deal, you can mix and match your favorites. Mix and match between savory sausage or naturally hickory smoked bacon. Mix and match between an English muffin or flaky biscuit. Any two served with a freshly cracked egg and melted cheese. You can even mix and match how you share it. One for you, one for them. 2 for them, or 2 just for you. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches for just $6. It's time for Tim's. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Single item at regular price. Modifications and tax extra. Additional terms apply.
92% of households that start the year with Peloton are still active a year later.
92% because of a bike?
Not just bikes. We also make treadmills and rowers.
Oh, let me guess, for elite athletes only, right?
Nope. It doesn't matter if you're an avid exerciser or new to working out. Peloton can help you achieve your fitness goals. 92% stick with it. So can you. Try Peloton bikes, tread, or row risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only. Not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.
Hey folks, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm with Rich Latta, of course, as usual. I'm James Boyd, as usual, right? I guess you want to start, Rich. You want to start with Jay Briscoe?
Yes.
Okay. So, I didn't follow the details of it, but Jay Briscoe died in a car crash sometime last week. Or actually, I think it was Tuesday. Last week. Yep. Tuesday last week. A lot of people online and around just watch pro wrestling in America and around the world, honestly, especially in Japan as well. Been shaken up by it. This is somebody that, like, I've been kind of aware of them in wrestling since I've been back in wrestling 2011, but not aware of like all the stops he's been. And the amount of outpouring was, I haven't really seen it since like the Hana Kimura stuff. It was really in one bittersweet in a way of like, I did not know he had that kind of reach on the number of people he did. And also, it sucked for the amount of people that like to see all of that and also see how many people were hurting from that. So, what were your thoughts and takeaways from getting the news and like seeing the kind of response, Rich?
So I was kind of having like a night with my wife, and we were just going through music. We're putting together playlists for the road so we can drive safely, ironically, so we don't have to touch everything while we're driving and look up songs and everything like that. Read it on my phone. I just swear I'm like, holy shit. And it was hard to even really explain to her who Jay Briscoe was as far as like, what he meant in wrestling. I was like, I just immediately went to like, he's one of the great tag team wrestlers of this time. He's a big rival, has a huge rivalry with the Young Bucks over the years. They're currently champions in Ring of Honor. And I saw this and it was so sad. And the fact that he was 38 years old, thinking about a lot of the wrestlers of our age group, I would say anybody that's under 40, right? This has been a pretty different era of wrestlers than the era that preceded it. We're talking about deaths, and their deaths were coming for a lot of different reasons. There was, drug abuse or, drug abuse and steroids and things like that. Like the generation that came after him didn't really seem to have those problems like outwardly, as far as like this being something that's going to make you die early. So when you see him die, and it's like this tragic death, and think about the age group of the guys, it's like, this is a whole new thing. And he died doing something we all do every day, which is driving. And, it's just so sad. Like, his daughters were in the car. And as you mentioned, everyone that just like came out with the outpouring of love for this guy. And, we know the reason why they weren't in AEW had to do with some tweets he put up, years and years ago. And I want to say about a month ago, I came on this show. I was like, yo, man, it's time to let them in AEW. Like, Like, this guy is like atoned for a lot of the stuff that, you know, he did as far as like, you know, that held him back. And, you know, I just was hoping that they'd get a chance to kind of come do their thing, you know, in AEW. So it's not like, you know, tucked away on the pay-per-views that are the lower level pay-per-views and all that. And he's like, you know, just having that great series they had with FTR last year, and his brother Mark never did anything. So, to see the outpouring from like your LGBTQ wrestlers, like, you know, you got Effie writing long pieces about him. You got Pollo de Mal talking about you know, their relationship with Jay, and seeing somebody that really like learned, that seemed to learn and like, you know, followed up on that learning. Like, yo, like I want to learn more to, you know, be like that. We've seen people like Tim Hardaway, for example, kind of do like the same thing. And
Kobe's another example.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant. And it's like the fact, like, it just feel like this guy was wronged. Like, and, you know, it was him. Yes, he wrote that tweet. He has a stand on it. And the thing is, he did stand on it. And he made up for it in a lot of people's eyes. But you know, it sucks to see that, you know, it seems like there was no path to redemption for him, no matter how hard, you know, no matter how much work he put in. And from a wrestling standpoint, I'm about as familiar with Jay Briscoe as you are. I may have watched a couple more matches, different ladder war things, some matches against the Young Bucks, different matches against, I think, GOD. Also, like, you know, obviously the FTR stuff last year, but I was watching some of his stuff from this past week. I watched a match with him and his brother against Kazuhiko Nakajima and Kota Ibushi from Noah, and I was just like fascinated and blown away. And you know, folks have like said, you know, if there's anybody that's in the conversation for real for the greatest tag team of all time, and you're not talking about the Young Bucks, like you're talking about the Briscoes, talking about the longevity, how good they were from, you know, essentially, you know, when they were 18 years old on to this time now. And they've got high quality work as early as 2004 going up. So this is just really sad on a multitude of levels. Like, seems like this guy was going to break through. Like, I think it would have been a matter of time before they could get that ban lifted, but I don't know, because even in death they couldn't really you know, do too much as far as the celebration of his life on TNT. Incredible promo, just like fascinating talker, and you know, the act with his brother, like the way they just kind of played off each other. This stings for a lot of different reasons, and I'm not even somebody that was like I wasn't no like huge like Briscoe's fan or anything like that, but it was just so like sad just seeing like the generation that he was a part of losing somebody like that, like all these great brother tag teams in the world, right? Like, we're never going to see another Briscoes Bucks match. We're never going to see Briscoes ever take on the Lucha Brothers. We're never going to see Briscoes and FTR again. We're not going to see Briscoes versus anybody because there's no more Briscoes. Literally just been yanked, like out, just zapped, literally. And you got to feel for his brother. You got to feel for his wife and his kids, and like all these great brother tag teams of this era, you know, go right down the line. And you know, they're up there with anybody. I'm very sad about his passing, and just like seeing like, and a lot of it had to do with like, you know, they couldn't get to like, it's just, you never know how much time you have left, and I just hate all of it. Like I was just deflated.
So, as you mentioned, like coming into this, in, you know, even up until maybe at the earliest, like around 2018ish, around the time they were making Lethal champion, and I had like, and Josh was watching Ring of Honor at the time, and he was talking about how much he was into like Lethal versus Jay Briscoe for the ROH title. I was aware of them even from the time we're talking about, Meltzer and talking about like, Observer Radio, talking about how like it seems like they may WWE might try to sign them, but like they have to deal with like them and their work with the family business with chickens and all that kind of stuff. And then I think the first time I ever actually saw them in person was Super Card of Honor. 2018. Yeah. I think it was it was them versus Lethal and Tanahashi, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Lethal and Tanahashi.
Yeah. So, this particular last year with the Ring of Honor revamp and the feud with a program with FTR was great. It's one of the is going to finish, very high on year-end feud of the year contender stuff around the world. Or if you haven't already, seen some of the stuff, some of it's already out there and they're already super high on that kind of stuff, maybe even won. But, so like, this is kind of like the year where like I got an appreciation of how good they actually were. I knew they were good. I didn't know that they were like, not easily some of the best matches of the year. And in certain case, I think, a lot of people think that the Dog Collar match was the best match this year, and I wouldn't argue. Just not my taste. But the thing, I've always kind of kept them off guard because, like, when people, get themselves in stupid situations, it's really easy to write people off and not ever check back to see on, like, as you mentioned, like, like the work that he did with, after he, said homophobic stuff and seek to make good on the wrongs he made. And I wasn't too much familiar with what he did or with like some of the stuff he did and his mea culpa and all that kind of stuff. Until he passed away. And, I remember, finding out about it and I was like, wait, what? He's dead. And I, go to his Twitter and see that he had just tweeted something out a few hours ago. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, picture with his brother.
So my immediate reaction was like, something. It's bad enough that he's dead at a young age, but it's like something terrible had to have happened because for him to just be tweeting and then a few hours later, like I'm thinking, so I'm wondering, like, a little mind, I was like, did he have a heart attack or something? Was there a car crash, whatever? Then find out later, like it was a car crash and he didn't have a seatbelt on. Like that really sucked. And, I just hope that the people that, that wrote him off in a similar fashion that I did in that kind of way. And it's so easy to do in, the online space of somebody fucks up and you just write them off forever as a decent human being or whatever else. Like, I hope that, like, there are more people that were like me that are like, this is a lesson. Like, this isn't like some, like this is real life. This isn't like some situation where like you just, write a cross over someone's name and just leave it at that. It's like, if this, like, people make mistakes and, I'm not saying for anybody to forgive anybody that are willing to, they're ready to forgive. Like, that's the thing when you make a mistake and you ask for forgiveness. Like, it's not granted you're ever going to be forgiven by everybody. And that's the game. But like, there were a lot of people that were vouched for that dude in that kind of way, to where it's like, okay, I didn't know there was a change on this, but there clearly was. And I'm good on that from their perspective. So, like you mentioned, all-time great tag team, all-time great tag team for this era, and they definitely left a legacy. There are people that put out threads and tweets of like 100 Dre Briscoe matches you can go watch right now. Not many wrestlers have that kind of thing. Obviously, that's the benefit of today's kind of, availability for YouTube and links and all that kind of stuff. But any wrestler that you can go out there and you can say, I got 100 quality matches on them, they're a good ass wrestler, period.
And I'm glad you mentioned like ironically, like this guy, had he showed up in another time, I think he'd have been a massive star, right? But he showed up in a time he did to where maybe in life he couldn't get the attention because of the just the nature of the way the wrestling business was set up throughout like most of his, life, essentially, like with WWE being the one place and then WWE would never touch them. Right.
Because he was also like he was damn near, or if he was like, I mean, he's almost like wasn't he a day one ROH guy?
Yes.
First ROH he's like so like an actual original as opposed to the stuff that's going on with like the AEW women's division for whatever. Like it's so, yeah, like when you start from there, it's going, like you think of the people that actually rose up from there, like that's a grind and not everybody makes it, regardless of the skill level, right? Like Nigel never made it. Nigel was one of the best wrestlers of the era.
And it's a lot about like, back channel links and message boards and, different downloadable sites, like
and the internet being a totally different place.
Right. And the internet, like really like being able to, like, if you were able to find the Briscoe stuff like back then, like I imagine it wasn't easy to like get your hands on them going to Noah in 2008. Like, so like he's kind of a legend of that era, like of those, because, it's easier now. It's like it's a click of a button. I can load up Wrestle Universe, but you weren't able to do that always. Yeah. And yeah, man, I just hope his brother's all right. Hope to see him continue his career. If he doesn't, totally understandable. But yeah, I think, there's going to be a tribute show coming for him that was taped. So I'm interested to see that. Every promotion, guys were talking about this guy, like, big, small, people that, were in the main events, like that have walked out with the championships at WrestleMania. We're talking about this guy. Tommaso Ciampa was talking about he ripped this guy off for his entire gimmick, when he was a heel. Like, yeah, man, it stinks, man. Like, and
the start of Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama Arena, like they start off with like in the ring, Tanahashi and Marufuji holding up pictures of Tanahashi holding a picture of Jay Briscoe when he was in New Japan, and Marufuji's holding up a picture of Jay Briscoe when he was in Noah. And like, you got both sides, the New Japan side and Noah side sitting there, and they're both, they're doing the 10 bell salute. Like, that's how far back that's how long he's been wrestling, and that's like where he's been around the world doing this. And you could tell people were, really, even over there were touched by that dude. So, that just lets you know how far this whole crazy wrestling thing goes with him in his career, in his life. And it's sad that he's no longer with us.
Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start the show.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fan. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Okay, so back on a lighter note. Where do you want to start with, I guess, the rest of the wrestling world, Rich? There was a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff we also neither one of us got to. But where do you want to start exactly?
So I guess we can go with Keiji Mutoh's last match, the card that was put out for that.
Okay. This
thing is stacked. To
the
gills. I guess we
done it again.
Yep. A true, like, and we don't know if this is it. I put that out there, and I want people to seriously consider that Keiji Mutoh is fooling you all.
And by all, we're including us too. We don't know.
I don't trust him for shit. So
neither do I.
Yeah, man. So the main event, of course, Mutoh will be in the main event.
Yeah.
He drew the house. And this is in the Dome, by the way. It'll be Keiji Mutoh versus Tetsuya Naito. So I guess they didn't touch each other for a reason in that 6-man. And Mutoh got all of these promotions to send them people that all wanted to be in the Dome. It's amazing. So Tetsuya Naito versus Keiji Mutoh. As Zekumaki says, the battle of knees. You can imagine both of these dudes, just running into each other, and then just pixie dust flying. I saw a picture of Tetsuya Naito's knee, like with the scar, and then the dish shape of it. It was just like, I saw it. I sent it to you on Twitter.
I thought it was someone else's knee. I thought
no, that was Naito.
Ugh.
Yeah, like I mean, does Keiji Mutoh have it in him to put Tetsuya Naito over?
I don't know why Naito would take the match if he doesn't go over. Right? So this is what I'll say. At the Bye Bye show at Yokohama Arena, I did not watch that show yet, but I did see that Darby had to escort him out of the press conference while he was in a wheelchair.
Yes.
If he's not hanging it up, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. Right?
Yen.
Like this, yes. To quote
Yen.
Konami, the endo. This should be the final time we see this dude. Like, in a pro wrestling ring. In fact, we should never actually see him again in a pro wrestling ring, but there's one more house to draw, brother. So yeah, like, I think Naito at this stage, even with the knees, is still, a more reliable bet than Shinsuke Nakamura, and they still figured out a way to have an enjoyable match, at Budokan Hall. So I'm expecting the same. So yeah, like, I think it's gonna be, it's gonna become a Tanahashi attrition war thing. You might see Naito break out a Dragon Suit leg whip himself, but I think it's gonna turn into a phone booth battle, and it's gonna turn into a slap fest, and we'll see what happens from there. But like, obviously, I don't think that Naito's gonna get him out of there with a Destino, because I don't think that Muto can hold him up to even fall back for a Destino. So I think we might get the Stardust press in a W.
Yeah, I'm going to take Tetsuya Naito on this one against my better judgment. Something in me wants to pick Keiji Mutoh.
Because you're
sick
perverse.
Part
of
me that wants to pick Keiji Mutoh, and have, like, because if he beat Naito in his last match, I don't think I'd ever shut up about it and just laugh forever. So I'm going to pick Tetsuya Naito, and I'm even going to root for Tetsuya Naito to win.
Oh, I already look. So, we had a watch party at noon for Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Yokohama Arena, with some of the Largo Loop guys, and Naito, after he wins the match in the main event, he walks by Muto. He makes eyes with him, and then he heads back up the ramp, and then Muto gets his ass off commentary and runs to the middle of the ring, and I was like, well, I know who I'm rooting for. When it comes dome time, I'm rooting. Go, Naito, go. Like, Naito normally like to work the neck, but, like, go to work on the knees, man. Go to work on your knees. You know, it's a very rare time when I'm outright rooting for Tetsuya Naito. In fact, there might not have ever been a time where this actually happened where I've outright rooted for him. But there's always time for a first time, and that first time is going to be February 21st at the Tokyo Dome. Go Naito, bro, kill him.
This crowd should be insane.
Naito, Boomae, Naito, Boomae.
You know, I had to pull the Naito music up, but
I was looking around. I was like, you know, February 21st, plenty enough time to get a shirt over here, to get a shirt mailed over here in time. You know, I already got some LIJ stuff, but it's always Hiromu or LIJ. It's never fully on Naito. I might have to go get one just in case.
It's so funny, man. All right, the semi-main event: Kazuchika Okada versus Kaito Kiyomiya. Boy, are we cooking or what?
Man, that was awesome.
I caught the clip of this on Twitter. I did not see all that Yokohama show, but I saw this. I saw this early in the morning. I woke up early this morning. Yeah, that was this, bro. There's so much about this. Like, I've never seen Okada like this. As far as like just out of his normal temperament, like this man's had like scale breaking matches where he's just like looked disinterested and like, you know, just nothing's happening to him. Directly off the heels of his last program that, you know, was a dome match.
Kind of telling.
This is like, let's go through it. Kaito Kiyomiya gets in the ring while Okada has I don't know.
Well, let me can I give the whole lore and backstory, please?
Sure.
I know you're not heavy on the lore, but Kaito Kiyomiya has long at times patterned himself after the Rainmaker, right? Like you go back to like 2020 or 2021, and you can see some of his gear, and obviously the color scheme's different. But like the robes it invokes stuff of like the Rainmaker jackets or whatever else. Obviously, it's not black and purple and red. It's more, you know, silver, black, and green and gold at points. But you can see there's something there. Especially my first time I ever saw him was Cyber Fight Festival, the tag match he had against Yuki Ueno and Takeshita. So. Flash forward to last year's night 3 of Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was in Saitama. And you know, they set up that match, Okada and Tanahashi versus Muto and Kiyomiya. And people talk about how like Kiyomiya has wanted a match with Okada since like 2020. And then you have Okada on the other end. Just fucking bury. Just bury. Look, don't give a fuck about Kiyomiya, and damn sure don't give a fuck about Noah. You know, you said we're the Olympic team. They're basically like the JV. I don't watch. I don't follow any of them. When I found out that Muto was there, I was like, Muto's there? Really? Like, just fucking bury the whole promotion, right? And you know, the way the match played out, like the person that dies needs to pin is Kiyomiya, and Muto carries him off. And then over the past year, it's been about reinventing. It's about the rise of Kiyomiya, like from that failure to, you know, then be able to be the person to actually put away Muto. Then, you know, put away, you know, he's more or less slaying drags of his past, like, and also slaying Kino, and then beating him in the rematch at Budokan Hall just recently. So now we get to the point where they have this tag match, and it's like it reminds me a lot in ways of like the beginning of the Moxley and Anna Page stuff, where like you have this top star that's at the top of the food chain, this big league, and this dude that's below him, and we all recognize below him, but like he's being disrespectful in a way, like he's calling him a kid in a way. Okada didn't call him a kid, like Moxley called.
You might as well have.
But like all Kiyomiya wants to do is start the match with him. And Okada won't even make eye contact with him. He won't even look at him. Not even look at his direction. Just rolls out, and they start the match with Makabe and Amora. And then Okada gets in, and he has him in a rest hold. And Kimmy gets in and break it up, and he kicks him, and then like Okada just knows some of these kicks, and then eventually Kimmy just reaches back. Look, the supernova reached back and kicked Okada, smoothing his fucking forehead, and the only thing that Okada could see at that point was the stars from the galaxy view. He fucking kicked him right in his fucking forehead. His forehead swells up like a golf ball's in the middle of his forehead. Kimmy then goes back to the apron. Okada gets up and he fucking just bull rushes Kimmy on the apron. Kimmy back bumps and hits the barricade. Okada gets out on the floor and he just fucking lands big, heavy, hard strikes on this man, beating his ass. And then it goes back and forth and them taking turns beating each other's ass after one of them lets off steam and the next one gets held back, another one gets up and it comes back. It was awesome.
Ultra speed, ultra anger in this, ultra emotion. This looks like,
this was like the best pull apart
you know what
brawl.
This is?
Go ahead.
Okada is like, all right. It's just this young punk is trying to try me. That's all this is. Like, it's not necessarily like, all right, and this is the time where Okada has crossed over to like where like it's not like a competitive rivalry here, like with Okada and Kiyomiya. Like this isn't back in high school where they ranking on each other. We used to do that in high school. This motherfucker's trying me, like, because he wants to be the next me. Right. This isn't a Jay White situation where he's just this fucking irritant or whatever. This isn't Kenny Omega where it's just athletic competition to be the best. This isn't Hiroshi Tanahashi where Okada's the person on the ascent. Right. This isn't Tetsuya Naito where it's just like this other guy who you're still younger than or whatever that is disgruntled and everything. This is this is a ambitious youngster that's saying, Okada, you need to get the fuck out the way, which in turn has brought something out of Okada that I don't think anyone ever has.
I mean, if you ever seen it, once you see them in the ring together, right, and you see it's like, okay, they're two, like, classically handsome movie star looking.
I'm a pretty motherfucker
dudes.
too.
Yeah, they're both pretty boys. They're both pretty. And that's what why this thing went off in the way it did for everybody that lost their minds about it, because like it was so well done. It's probably the best pull apart big brawl thing I've seen since like the Undertaker Lesnar thing in 2015. And this is actually in the middle of a live match supposed to like it's not even a match, right? Like this thing got so out of control they had to throw it out, which was awesome. Like, do you see the cage match rating for this thing?
I heard it was like a 9 or something.
It's like an 8.6 something. Like, I'm sorry, it's not a 4 3. It's not a near 4 3/4 star match, but like it's a super high angle. That's how much people are into this, right? They like the angle so much that like they're gonna pretend this actually was a match or whatever, instead of just an angle. But it's a lot of the Okada's what 35, 34,
35,
right?
Something like that.
Yeah, like it's the We're definitely no longer in the front 9 of his career.
35.
We're definitely at the beginning of the back 9 of his career, right? And all of a sudden there's another guy, different promotion, but it's like there's a lot of similarities, and it has to annoy him that there's somebody as great as Okada is, that there's a lot of similarities. That there is like all of a sudden there's some 5'11" to 6'1" version of himself out there. Hey. That can move like a Bushi in spots. Like that has to bother him.
Look, you know what this sounds like? This sounds like the match that was just semi-main event in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah. And like,
so Okada's about to execute,
right? And like the thing that made it, as I mentioned, like the similarities, like the looks, both with the manicured, perfect blonde hair. And then they go out there and they beat the shit out of each other. And by the time they get to the actual like, this is for the photo shoot. This is what's going to be on Shoe Pro. Like they're both. What are they doing? They're both at each other's. Both at each other, grab each other by the fucking hair. And it's like that's exactly what it's about. They're both pretty boys, and they think the other one's soft, and they're both trying to prove that they're the toughest pretty boy around. Like it's a lot of that. And normally it takes a pretty boy to be put with an uggo, if you will, or a type of monster to prove how tough they are. In this case, it was just like, hey, these two handsome young dudes finna go out there and scrap it out. And it like, funny. You know, for that particular crowd, with the amount of a female demographic in that crowd, like, they're definitely gonna be into this. And like, I don't know if you heard the American or the English commentary from New Japan. Kevin Kelly was great. And by great, I mean completely biased and completely pro New Japan. That man said that, don't be mad at Okada because you can't get over Kaito. This was a Don Callis type job right there. The way he was so like partisan for one side. It was so great. It was never the part of like, all he wants to do is just wrestle this dude that he modeled himself after and test himself against, and the dude won't come see him. It's pissing him off. It was none of that. It was like, you're just a punk. You're just a punk. And it was great. So, you know, they're going to have...
I ain't never seen Okada shaking up like this, man.
Bro, they're going to have a fucking banger. They're going to have a banger.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I might be riding with Kaito on this, man. You know,
look,
we'll
man,
see.
I don't know. I'm not rooting for either one of them because I like both of them a lot. Like, you know, over the last, you know,
Okada's the champion. He's going to win, but
I
mean, Kaito's the champion too. So
yeah, well, one's the champion of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The other one's the champion of Pro Wrestling Noah in 2023. Like, we know who's going to win here. That's not the problem.
That's true. They could do that Stardom finish.
I don't know what the time limit is. Maybe it's a 30-minute time limit. Maybe it is. Yeah. Look, I'm not against them having multiple matches this year. You know, think about you know, all the things people have said about Okada and the idea of him being champion again, and who does he have to wrestle? And he just wrestled Naito 3 times last year, and you know, he's wrestled Jay a few times. He's wrestled Shingo, or he's about to wrestle Shingo for the 5th time. He's wrestled Ospreay like 7 times already. Who's he gonna wrestle? Well, if he's gonna wrestle Kaito Kiyomiya, sign me the fuck up. This is a fresh matchup. Like, this is the interesting things you can do when you're out here and you're doing interpromotional stuff with people. And like, we're gonna go through the rest of this card. And you're gonna see a bunch of like cool things on this card. And like, hats off to Muto for however he pulled this off. But like, this is a really fun card. This is a really interesting. This is a really fun like card for just someone that like enjoys Japanese pro wrestling all around.
Hiromu Takahashi will be taking on Amakusa, who I just saw a clip of apparently. So that young man is an athletic marvel and looked like he doesn't give a fuck either. So this could be excellent as well.
Yes.
The Noah Junior champion. This is the ROPW match right here.
Yep. Recently became acquainted with him at Budokan Hall. His match, his title defense he had was one of those matches like, you know, Noah fans don't really care about the junior wrestling, but their match was so good and they worked so hard that after like, you know, after a floor fall, they eventually got around to really enjoying their match. But after they sat on their hands for forever, but like, really good wrestler. Really good wrestler. I don't know where he tops out. I don't know where it was pecking orders, but like, he is impressive from what I've seen of him. And him in there with Hiromu, I think they're going to go out there and do something very fun. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how much Hiromu may have slowed down from being a wild person after breaking his neck, he still is a great quality wrestler. So it's going to be fun.
So we've got the Booker Man match here. We've got Nasawa Ron Guy's final match is Nasawa and Mazada versus Taiji Ishimori and Gato. Let the Bookers go in there and what Booker wants to lose to the other.
I think Gato goes over.
Yeah, I think Gato goes over. Yeah,
gotta keep it a running theme of New Japan goes over. Like, look, do you pick Asuka to beat Hiromu? Because I didn't.
No, I'm going to take Hiromu Takahashi here. As far as Nosawa, Zach in the comments is saying good riddance to Nosawa. So look at Nosawa getting a 4 from the top on Muto's last show, getting that check, good check.
Yeah, you know, what I'll say is this, you know, with Muto seemingly leaving Noah this year, with Nasawa possibly out like this and like, you know, some of the stuff they've done with promotional stuff with New Japan, including this, like, they're a lot harder than they were for me last year. even while I thought like they had a really impressive top 4 of wrestlers, like they're doing cool things right now. That's all you really ask for from a wrestling promotion. Like when they got talented people, are you going to put them in place to do cool things? That's what they're doing right now.
So we got an All Japan versus Noah trios match. We got Kento Miyahara, Suwama, and Yuma Aoyagi versus Kongo. That's going to be Kano, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Manabu Soya. I'm going to take Noah. Noah's got to get some wins here somewhere. So we're just, whoever's smaller, they're going under.
Yeah.
But
and,
seeing Kento Miyahara in there against these guys, apparently he has some history with Kano and I think,
Nakajima.
Yeah, Nakajima as well.
I don't know what it is, but I heard about it, and that's interesting. But like the main thing is like, Kento Miyahara is kind of like at this point, like the 2015 AJ Styles where it was like, I've heard the name plenty of times, heard plenty of good things, and never seen him. Like I get a chance to see him now. Not to say that like I can't go find him somewhere, but like I just never gotten around to see him. Heard great things as far as reputation, so I'm interested to see him in there with like 3 quality wrestlers. It's 2 of them that are great.
We've got Dragon Gate versus Noah. It's going to be Shun, Skywalker, Kai, and Diamante against Naomichi Marufuji, Ninja Mac, and El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. So this should go off as well. It's kind of like they're probably going to do a Dragon Gate 6-man here. I think I will take Marufuji's not losing. I'll take the Noah guys here.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I thought was really cool is like you getting Ninja Mac in there with Dragon Gators. Like, he should be in Dragon Gate. He should be in Dragon Gate, but he's in Noah getting over. So yeah, like that's gonna be fun. Like I can't wait to see him and Shun in there together. So yeah.
We've also got what they're calling the World Warrior Battle. So this is going to be Takashi Sagura, Satoshi Kojima, and Timothy Thatcher against the good-looking guys, Jake Lee, Jack Morris, and Anthony Green. Anthony Green is doing a J-O-B.
Yep. And that's perfectly fine. That's what he's there for. He's the butt of the joke. Like the whole gimmick is, their gimmick is called they're good-looking guys. He's the unattractive one.
Next we have the Dramatic Dream Future. So we're gonna have this looks like a bunch of DDT guys here. So it's Shuma Katsumata, Mao, who's been popping up on the US Indies doing crazy shit.
Okay.
Tui Kojima and Yuki Ueno, who we've seen before, against Tetsuya Endo, Hideki Okatani, Yuya Kuroku, and Takeshi Masada. I think I'm doing all right with just seeing
I think you are. I think you are.
For the first time.
I think you are. Right. All right. Like people are like, you don't know these names. Like, it's my first time ever seeing their names. I've never seen the rest before. Like this is like One Inch Radio is not gonna pretend like we've seen these people if we haven't seen them or we know how to pronounce names. We don't know how to announce them. We're just doing our best. So yeah, like. Ueno
Tetsuya Endo's Raw.
Tetsuya Endo's Raw. Yuki Ueno's very damn good. Like I'm, those two that I know. So I'm interested to see the rest of them. I saw
Mao do he did a all-in-one sequence pretty much. It was a Hurricanrana off the top rope to somebody. They were selling on the ground. He hits the ropes, runs to the other ropes like Manami Toyota, jumps to the top rope, and then does a Phoenix Splash off of that jump. And I was like,
Jesus,
this brother's something else. Like,
well, something tells me that that given this particular placement, you will not be seeing pheromones in the ass to mouth wrestling. You'll be seeing you'll be seeing them trying to showcase that they have great wrestling and they're not just a joke.
So we got the new explosion. So this is Stinger, Ita, Yoshinari Ogawa, Hayate, Daga, and Chris Ridgway taking on Atsushi Katoge, Yohei, Seki Yoshioka, and Alejandro and Junta Miya. Ooh, that one's fucking me up. Junta Miyaki.
Okay,
yeah, Miyawaki. Sorry.
Okay, so Yoshioka, he's raw. Like. I wish he was. Before, like in the middle of last year, I wish he had never lost the junior championship. He's really good. I wanted to see a Yoshioka versus Ninja Mac match. Never happened though, unfortunately. But yeah, like Thatcher in the right position. He's good. Obviously, Segura Gun. Oh, I'm sorry. We're looking at the wrong match. I'm looking at the completely wrong match. Where are we at now? We're at
the New Explosion.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so Ogawa, Ogawa's old, but like it's a tag match. He can make it work. It's fine. He just looks terrible in the ring because he's like in his 50s. But whatever, and he has a terrible Zubaz gear. But whatever, like Hayate, he's okay. Chris Ridgway. It's weird, like it's almost like if he's good, but it's almost like if you've seen Kyle O'Reilly or you've seen Daniel Bryan or you've seen like any of these like, striker submission specialists, whatever else, he's not gonna leap off the page to you, but he's solid as fuck. But he is good, but it's like but you've seen versions of him before. But so either you'll kind of be like, oh, okay, or you'll be like, he's familiar, so like I like him. I think that's what'll come down to it with him. And then like Yohei's really good, Yoshioka's really good, Alejandro's really good, but Alejandro makes me laugh because like it's like some Ultimo Dragon shit because like that dude, like come on, like Ultimo Dragon, Alejandro, you guys are Japanese. What are you doing? What's happening? What's going on? What are you doing here? But either way, they're still really good. And but there's plenty of good guys on there, so I think that'll be a decent match. But it's early in the card, so it's going to be one of those crowd pleasers and get out there, get in and get out quickly. So don't expect anything special.
So we got the TJPW match, TJPW Spark. So we got Miyu, Yamashita, Yuka Sakazaki, Rika Tatsumi, and Shogo Nakajima against Mizuki, Maki Ito, Miyu Watanabe, and Yuki Arai.
Yuki Arai is the biggest shining example of a pin eater on this entire card.
Damn.
Rich, go name that first team again.
We got Miyu, Yamashita, Yuka Sakazaki, Rika Tatsumi, and Shoko Nakajima.
Okay, the current POP champion is Yuka. The champion before her was Shoko Nakajima. The champion before her was Miyu Yamashita. The champion for her was Rika Tatsumi. They got the last four champions all on the same team.
Golden State Warriors.
Who do you think's going to win?
Super team.
Right. And then on the other side is Mizuki and Ito and Yuki Arai. I think who's with Yuki Arai?
That's funny. It's like they did this shit as a cast system.
Oh, Miyu Watanabe. That's right. A cast system? Yes. Yeah, like you look at it,
you
right?
Draw a line.
The POP, like the POP division, and then the IP division.
Yep.
Right? Like
that's all this
know, you have an idea that like in the long run they want Yuki Arai to be eventually the IP champion, right? And that's fine. But she might be a year away because she's actually active idol, so like she doesn't wrestle all the time like everybody else does. And she's the weakest of the 8 wrestlers. So yeah, like she don't get pinned. She might catch a crush rabbit heat and get her fucking dome kneed off by Miyu or whatever else. But it is what it is. It should be fun. I expect to get more than 6 minutes. I bet that.
I am trying to figure out how we watch this thing. So there's one more match. It's going to be Masa Kitamiya, Daiki Inaba against Yoshiki Inamura, and Yatsuka Yano. I know Inamura is like the big aggressive hoss.
This is an opening match.
Awesome.
This is an opening hoss tag match. That's what that is. That's all that is. Like it is not too different from what they did on the pre-show with the Ishii match on the Yokohama show just this weekend, where like they had Inaba, I believe, and they had Ishii, and they basically just brawled to the back, right? And that was most of the match. But yeah, like fun card. It's a fun card up and down.
Yeah, definitely want to watch this. I'm trying to figure out how you do it. Since Noah's involved, I tend to think there's like an Amoeba pay-per-view connection. So,
and then there's also the possibility because of like the heavy New Japan thing, it might be on World on pay-per-view too. Yeah. Hopefully it's on World on pay-per-view because like I just buy it the same way I bought her Historic Crossover.
Yeah. So, besides that, I guess before we get to the next thing, I wanted to mention I do have a new album that has come out, which is Dream Machine Act 1. I got it up on, we'll put the link in the show notes for this. 9 tracks on it. There will be a part 2 to come in April. That will be out as well. And then the end of the year will be One Lifetime. So I'm going 3 albums in a year. DMX did 2. I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anybody that wants to check it out. Basically, I did a pay-as-you-want model. So if you want to check it out for free, you can do that as well. If you want to show extra love, had a lot of people showing love so far, and more than like I had imagined. So shout out to everybody that has already checked the album out. You can throw whatever you want to throw on it. It's up to you. You can throw $1, you can throw 10, you can throw 50, you can throw 150. I ain't gonna stop you or whatever. Just come through and check out the music. So besides that, what do we have next? WWE wanting Stone Cold Steve Austin to face Roman Reigns. My God. James, do they have any other ideas?
I mean, their idea
from going back to it, bro. Back to what was this? 2023,
25 years ago.
Literally, Austin won the title for the first time 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Look, I think Stone Cold Steve Austin should be able to do whatever he wants. This would normally go against everything I would advocate for, right? But I think the thing for me is Roman Reigns is nowhere near the most interesting opponent for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Who do you think
nowhere near John Cena, 100%.
Because of the promos?
The promos, the natural like clash of like eras, like where he was directly after like the Attitude Era. They were in the shadows and stuff like that, and really do like good promos like that. Austin versus Roman is just like, this is more Roman Reigns legacy fluff that will not take. Like, if everyone you've already fed Roman Reigns like doesn't make him what you think he is, feeding Stone Cold Steve Austin to him isn't going to do the thing. I guess we're going to have to dig up Andre the Giant and do that next. Who else can we pull? Bruno, wake him up. Hogan, can he get cleared? And can he take the spear? Can he take a Superman punch? Like, put them all out there together. Have them face Roman in a handicap match if you want to do it like that. Roman Reigns,
like it's Jericho versus like Snuka and Steamboat
and Piper.
Oh my God!
Yeah, man. Like Austin and Reigns. Like, I don't even like their whole things. Like Roman Reigns isn't selling any ass. Like, he's not about to look stupid for Austin at any point. So that's just from a aesthetic standpoint. Doesn't make a ton of sense for me, but I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think he can do what he wants. He should be making money from WWE literally forever. They should be like, and I'm not talking about just off merchandise and, back catalog shit. It's like, no, y'all need to be sending this man a $20 million check every year.
Yeah. I mean, if you only book one person to be the top star, then you end up with having to do stuff like this. And for the most part, with the fact that like there's been a split in fandom from like people basically like leaving in droves with the AEW thing and kind of just like, paying passive attention to WWE, like the fan base they have left, I think they'll be into this to some extent. And like this idea of getting Austin back to do a second show, like that's cool and everything. Like, why not?
I mean, seeing as how Stone Cold Steve Austin, head to head last year outdrew Roman Reigns, maybe they have a storyline over that.
Yes, that maybe. Who knows what they'll come up with? And maybe we're being too far ahead of ourselves because like it's the assumption that like if he's coming back, it has to be because like The Rock said he's not doing it, so they have to find somebody for Roman. So we're all assuming it's going to be that like when we hear that like they reach out to Austin for something, it has to be Roman. Maybe we're getting too far ahead of ourselves.
I mean,
I think it's a safe bet.
Like that's what they said. Like they pitched him like the Roman thing, and I would agree. Like as far as like if you can't get Rock, like then it's like they're scrambling and gambling, playing on mandolins and violins,
and I could have sworn that like I was trying to find it, but like I could have swore I said this to you at some point, like in the last like month or two. This like if Rock can't do it, they may as well just call Austin because Austin actually is available to do this shit.
Yeah, we've seen them workout videos on Instagram. You ain't fooling nobody, Austin.
So, like we'll see where it goes, but they're doing 2 nights again, right?
Yes. This is WWE. Just like tonight. Tonight is the 30-year Raw anniversary, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about the past.
So my question is because like once they went to WrestleMania 30, they stopped numbering them because Vince was like, now it dates the promotion. It makes it seem old. Like when they get to the 30, so when we get to like 5 years from now, will they actually say it's Raw 35, or will they just say it's the Raw anniversary? What will they do?
Well, to this year they did Raw is XXX.
Well, that's still 30.
Like 30.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I don't know, man. But I don't know. I like I said, I feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin should be able to do whatever he wants. He has not abused himself thus far as like coming back a million times to where it's like, all right, man, get this dude the fuck out of here, like The Undertaker or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. Like it's and he's like on another stratosphere from The Undertaker. Right. But yeah, man. Strap up Austin. I mean, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't. Chaos. Let the chaos ensue.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Next year is WrestleMania 40, right?
It is.
Even though they don't acknowledge it as 40. Like, why can't like Austin win and then like Austin gives the win back to Roman at WrestleMania 40, and they basically do what they did with Rock and Cena, and they have Austin at the end, like raise his hand and give him the do twice in a lifetime, Rock and Cena or Rock and Roman. I'm sorry, Austin and Roman.
Boy, that would suck.
Rich, they don't have any better ideas what to do with Roman on these biggest shows of the year. You would think that if you're your biggest star on the biggest show of the year, you have better ideas on what to do with these people, but they don't.
Well, I mean, if he's the biggest star, he's not even the best thing in his own storyline right now. So, like, I'm questioning, like, how you make this guy interesting. Because, like, if he's not going to give anything to anybody and it's just domination, maybe the other option should be the WrestleMania main event is Roman Reigns making his entrance and holding the belts up and spinning around a circle of poses for 15 minutes and then leaving to the music. Maybe that should be the WrestleMania main event.
I could have sworn I've seen somebody actually propose that.
I did. I saw that as well.
Okay. That's like I could have sworn like that's not something exactly like some new idea you just came up with. I've heard someone say that. Like, so yeah, man. Like, whatever. They have no ideas. They have no new ideas.
Look, I can't even take the Sami Zayn thing seriously because like their own fans don't actually want to see Sami Zayn win.
They want him to team up with the person he's teamed up with literally 5 years ago, right? Like does that not lost on people? Like WrestleMania 2018, him and Kevin Owens were heels teaming against Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, and like they wanted them to team up and win the tag team titles finally. It's like this shit is way better done, but it's like this shit ain't too dissimilar from like the Sasha and Bayley shit, and they fucked that all and wasted too much time on that one. It's like if y'all are into it, cool, but like you want to see them as tag champions. Okay,
like that's the payoff.
All this for the tag titles, right? No one cares a fuck about the tag titles in WWE. The only reason why people care about them now is because like they acted like this is a part of the legacy of not the Usos but Roman Reigns in the head of the household, head of the table thing. Is like, so All right, so like, how does it distinguish like the Usos from like any of the other title reigns they've had? It done other than they're just like goons for the top guy. Okay, cool, whatever.
And then you add Cody in, man.
What is Cody going to do at WrestleMania?
Who knows? Not win a belt.
They announced him early, and then the first thing I heard people say was like, "Hey, are they going to Batista him to Sami Zayn's Daniel Bryan?" I was like, wait a second. I didn't realize that people were actually into Sami Zayn in that way. Especially now we're talking about like him being the tag champions.
Same.
Yeah, so this
this shit is stupid, right? Because it's like, all right, man, y'all trying to pull these strings to root him to the tag team championships, right? But I feel like there are so many people that are pulling this thing in so many different ways. They're going to act like it's like that's the destination, the tag team titles, right? But if you're telling me Sami Zayn is the one that makes this whole thing great, and the main fucking guy, right, and the main fucking guy is Roman Reigns that's involved in this,
right?
What are we doing here? This is Eugene trying to impress Triple H. Like, what are we doing, man? Stop this. So
I don't know.
Good Jesus.
And the thing is, like, we're talking about all this. Like, the Rumble is this weekend.
The Royal Rumble is this weekend. I wish Gunther could just win it. I mean, you know, it actually like rise up, you know, but apparently not.
Do you think they're ever going to do that match? Gunther versus Roman? You think they're ever going to do that match?
No. Because unless Walter's turning babyface right now, they're not going to do this for many years, it seems like, because what incentive do they have to mess with Roman Reigns right now in his alignment?
I don't know how that mess up his alignment. Like, Gunther's not like someone to upset like the apple cart as far as like how over Roman Reigns is going to be or not. Like, it's a good ass match, and y'all are out of like fresh ideas for opponents. Pick somebody else.
No, he feels like it feels like he's like Jade with the TBS belt and out the way. He's in his own world and he's having these hard ass matches like with Sheamus and, you know, the Brutes and all that shit. Mm-hmm. Like he's doing all this shit away from the bloodline. Like you had the fucking Imperium niggas in the fucking match at War Games without him. Like, so, you know, like what is this? Like I am confused here. Yeah, man. Lots of activity in the comments right now. Gonna go through this. Sammy getting the consolation prize from Brewhaven.
Well, that's been his whole career in on the roster. So
Cody looks like a fool for leaving now. I think he did his best. The best thing he could, like, because if he stays in AEW, he's going right down. If you don't turn, he's just.
If Cody's actual objective in pro wrestling is to be a mark in a belt mark, then like I guess maybe sure, but like, and the thing is like, be a babyface that doesn't get like shitty responses and like have fresh matchups and like actually have the crowd into you as a babyface, then like I think he made the right decision for himself. Yeah. Like, it sucks that he got hurt, but like everything up until he got hurt was going on point for him.
He made the right decision for this podcast, you know.
Well, that too.
You know, yeah. He got the fuck out of here, like literally, like go over there, like. Cody finna win the title off some bullshit, Adam Pearce fuckery, and not actually wrestle Roman and defend versus Seth at WrestleMania. Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's another one. Like, are people still hung up on like they want to see Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania too?
You'll get the.
I hear that the least, but that's the one thing that I do hear. But I hear that least out of all the things of Sammy or Cody.
Yeah,
he's like the third option, or actually the fourth option behind, or fifth now that there's Austin and then The Rock. Like he's the fifth option.
All right. this wouldn't even be a Dark Elevation level storyline. Jesus Christ. The cage match got cut. Oh wow. So
what cage match?
They had advertised Becky versus Bayley in a cage match. They set the cage up and everything, and then didn't do the match
On Raw tonight.
Yeah. And
they had it up in the air suspended, and then they cut it.
Yes. And then Bayley sending tweets out like, haha, gotcha, and all this shit. I'm like, that's stupid, Bayley. Like, what are you doing? Retrograde.
What is it? Why are heels in pro wrestling so bad at like I don't get it. Like what? Like they're not actually like make you upset. Do you want to see them get punched in the face? They're just annoying. Well, and I mean annoying in a stupid way. It was like no actual person actually acts like this. Like you're just
a cartoon villain. Like
not even a cartoon villain. Just like an irritant. Like they're all they're like none of them are actually like Thanos. All of them are Pat Beverly.
I don't know. It's just
it's weird.
It's a creativity thing, I think, for a lot of people, because like I feel like they'll say, well, you won't let us get real heat, and it's like
Kevin Owens or Tommaso Ciampa or Kenny Omega or like there's too many examples of good heels over the last decade for people to be like, no one like, what about this whole like display case I have of these people? No, okay.
Yeah. Like, no.
Sorry, Corbin, you're just not a good wrestler. It is what it is.
I'm just not as talented as those people, so I can't figure it out. So I need to, use the good old reliables, Meanwhile, Chris Jericho, can figure it out.
Another one, right.
Retrogram, this cage match shit is so fucking nasty. WWF has had 8 minutes of women's matches in the last 8 hours of main roster TV.
Wow.
Is it time to really talk about this yet? Like, is like, can I just say WWE doesn't care about women's wrestling and not be like lambasted for it?
I mean, to be fair, you could just say they don't care about wrestling, period. Just leave it at that.
That works for me.
I think you're being a little bit too like what do you call it? You're being a little too like
small-minded here.
Yeah, like think big. Yeah, think bigger. They're dusting off a nigga that's damn near 60 to be main eventing WrestleMania against their top guy. Like, what are we doing?
They saw Keiji Mutoh, Mutoh and Austin, same age,
bald, damn near 60, dunzo for knees. Yeah, bring him out.
Same thing. All Austin need is like some alternate persona, some face paint on him. So
Sheamus Nova said, I prefer the Kaito Kiyomiya style of getting hit by kicking people in the face. I mean, this is the only sort of place you can get away with that kind of shit. I don't think you can actually do that in WWE and get away with that. Like, can you imagine, right? Roman Reigns has somebody in a rest hold, and I don't know. Hell, I mean, think about what just happened with the Kevin Owens thing of Hell in a Cell or whatever else. About he slapped him and he got heat or whatever else. Imagine if you just kicked him in the forehead with a non kick padded boot
and split him.
Right. That would be a whole different thing, right? And obviously it's different styles, whatever else. But at this point, like these are people handle this a totally different way. We handle it so different way. Not saying one's right, one's wrong. Like, obviously, if you're gonna kick somebody in the face, you better have someone's like blessing to kick them in the face. Otherwise, you're disgusting. But yeah, man, this is different. Just different world. Totally different worlds.
Yeah, man. So
Austin hitting the beer mist. The Coors beer mist.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Oh, man. So, yeah, man, I guess we talk about AEW. James, I don't think James saw this show, but this is just
I'm spoiling all of it, though, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. This show, when you look at it on paper, you're just like, oh, that should be good. That should be good. That should be good. But you're just like, okay, just especially like compared to the last couple weeks, the on paper lineup and the execution of it, and then they roll out, and it's like, yeah, I got 3 matches I give at least 4 stars to, and then like one of them I would probably give 4.5, and then the other one's like 4.25. Like, and like this is just happening every week on Dynamite now. The last like 2 months have been fucking phenomenal. For the storytelling, for the match quality, this has just been an insane run for this promotion. So opened up with Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal. We got the on tribute. We got the tribute graphic for Jay Briscoe. Everyone on the show is pretty much wearing Jay Briscoe armbands. Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal had a fun match. They didn't try to go out there and do their super match or anything, but this was okay. They banned Jarrett Dutt and Satnam Singh from ringside. There was some comedy stuff with Danhausen getting the guitar from Double J and acting like he was playing it. He was playing like he was an usher. And they had like tickets and shit like that, and Beretta and Taylor in the crowd. Basically, the whole thing is like, they can't get involved or Sanjay Dutt is going to be fired. So they kept teasing like they were actually going to get involved. And Sanjay Dutt was like, "Hey man, you can't do this. Like I'll be fired." And it was pretty funny. Ended up with Orange hitting Lethal with the Orange Punch for the win. He's defended the All Atlantic title a lot of times already. So like, I don't, I think he's defended it more than anyone has ever defended a belt in AEW. So,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think I saw something like 11 defenses or something like that. So, yeah, good for him.
He definitely was treating it like it was like, the early kind of, idea of the TNT title.
Yeah, 11 defenses, Build Mafia says, yep. So we got the Young Bucks taking on Top Flight. So Matt and Nick came out, and Top Flight came out, and this is another awesome match. This was like, when it was done, I was like, well, the Young Bucks just kind of roll out of bed and do this. Like, this is their first tag match since they dropped the tag team championships to Swerve and Our Glory. Of course, they've been competing in the Trios division, and Top Flight essentially come out here and they do all the fast paced match the counters and anything you can do, I can do better. Countering, Bucks kind of work heel, but they're not. They're wrestling. They're babyface, but they're kind of like leaning heel, kind of to get the match over. Mm-hmm. And Top Flight's like doing a lot of great athletic stuff, and they're really shining the spotlight on Dante. Or yeah, Dante's taking what he wants, and then they're trying to highlight Darius. So the whole thing, like, this is just kind of a classic Bucks match. This wasn't like one of the higher peaking matches. I think these two teams could probably do a better match, but I would probably go like maybe 4 stars on this one, 4.25 in between there. There were some, Doomsday Destroyers. They did some Briscoe's tribute spots. The Bucks did. Bucks both had the Jay Briscoe armbands on. And besides that, Top Flight ended up getting the win when Darius rolled up Matt and basically like locked him up in a victory roll kind of thing. So people were kind of tipping this off before this happened because Bucks are kind of competing in trios right now. They got the championships. Some people were thinking this may be a way to get like a AR Fox and Dante Martin, Darius Martin against the Elite in a trios match. Would probably be pretty fun. But yeah, Bucks with the clean job here. Are people going to act like this didn't happen on national television, James?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Just checking. So we had the Acclaim were scheduled to speak, but the Guns came out instead. They said they're the best tag team in the world. They talked about how they embarrassed the Acclaim last week. They said they made the Acclaim popular. They even gave them their dad, which was pretty funny. The Acclaim came out and basically Max was trying to rap, but the Guns tried to stop him, but Max did his thing anyway. And eventually, like, they started brawling out there, but Billy Gunn came out there and broke them up, told the Acclaim to act like champions. He said he was sick of his kids. And they're basically going to have family therapy next week. So, all right.
Sounds like an Attitude Era skit. We'll see how it goes, though. Because, some of those things were good. Like, that's what got, the anger management stuff is what got Daniel Bryan over, like all the way over. So we'll see how this goes.
So we had an interview with Hangman Page and Renee. This was excellent. So they're kind of, it's like informal. Renee doesn't even have a mic. So they're just kind of like backstage, and it's kind of like a new kind of style, it seemed like. He said he basically asked Heyman how he's doing. He said he feels fine after, his win with Mox. He said he did what he had to do by knocking Moxley out cold to win the match, and he happily do it again. He talked about, having some tough conversations, and he wanted to mend fences with people, kind of like hinting at maybe reconciling with the Elite. He's showing concern from Moxley to Renee. He was like, asking her, how is he doing? And there's kind of that awkwardness of like, Renee is still trying to do her job and like, kind of like tell him like, he's fine. He's all right. But like, there's like someone with Hangman kind of showing vulnerability with it, and just wondering like, is this guy all right that basically got the same shit that happened to me? I just went through this, like, I hope he's straight. And,
any chance it feels like he's almost regretful because he was like, for a month and a half, he was like, pissed off at what happened to him, and now he wanted to do it to someone else. Now that he's done it, he's like, I know what he's going through.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay,
this was awesome. Like this. Okay. Like Paige is like the best babyface in wrestling. Like it's like he's phenomenal. And I think there was like I just can't wait to see where this goes next. And maybe they move Heyman in a different direction right now until Moxley gets back. But this is still going on. This is really cool. So Ricky Starks and Hager. This was okay. Not really too much here. Starks got a clean win here, so he basically has gone through Jericho. He's gone through Hager. This was just, a sports entertainment match, but Ricky's getting a lot of wins here, so good for him. Let's see. After that, we had one hell of a match. Pulling up this thing here. We had, excuse me. I don't know why I'm looking at my recap and it has disappeared. I believe it is Bryan Danielson versus, no. We got a quick recap video for Adam Cole. They basically highlighted his, comments from last week. Did some new comments. Said he's going to run over anybody gets in his way. After that, we had Jericho backstage. He was fired up, and he basically was like, "Nah, man, fuck this. We tired of Ricky Starks. He's just beating us over and over again." And next week, I want a tag team match. Me and Sammy Guevara were going to face Starks and Action Andretti. Daniel Garcia said he wants to be Jericho's partner, and he was like, "All right." Sammy was like, "That's a great idea." And he said, "Hey, I'll give you my spot if you can beat Action Andretti on Rampage." He did not beat Action Andretti on Rampage. And he's like, "Yo, I even got you some ring gear." And Sammy Guevara handed that man some leather pants, and that shit was hilarious.
That's where I saw him in some long leather pants. I was like, "What is this?" Okay, that's what that's from. All right.
Yeah, that shit is like funny as fuck. Up next, we got the best match of the night. Bryan Danielson versus Bandito. Nigga. Okay, so two things. Match was incredible, right? The person the crowd wanted to win was Bandito. They were cheering for him way louder than they were cheering for Danielson.
Of course. I mean, that's what happens in like these Moxley or Takeshita matches. Like you're wrestling bigger stars. Like the stars are trying to get the other guy, the guy that's the lesser star, over in these matches.
I don't,
or you don't feel that way.
I don't feel like that's what's going on here. Like I think it's like, all right. Like I think the person they were more into was Bandito, and I believe they were in Fresno, California, if I'm not mistaken. So it wasn't like they weren't doing this match in Mexico City, Mexico, or anything like that. So I don't know, man. Like, it's weird. It's weird with Danielson right now. But this match was phenomenal. This pay-per-view quality match. At least 4.5. This was like these are the cool things like you wish to see Danielson doing while he was in jail for years and years. And this was like Bandito's so fucking strong, so great, so creative. Like they were doing all the Yave moves to each other. Bandito was like throwing them around, incredible near falls. Danielson's doing the submissions, he's doing the kicks, and like Bandito's hitting all of his shit, doing the 21 plex. They did like Danielson countered like a brain buster with the label lock. He basically they did a lot of strength stuff for Bandito. Like it was great. Go out of your way to watch this match if you haven't seen it. This was like fuck, like this really made you want to see like, all right, man, these guys that show up that wrestle these star guys, right? Like Takeshita or Bandito and shit like that. It's like, nah, man, they got to be pushed too. Like this isn't like these are the people like I think the crowd are really like they're reacting to right now. Like there's kind of like a I don't want to say like a youth movement going on, but like we saw Top Flight just beat the Young Bucks here. We're seeing like new people get opportunities. It's like they have to continue to lean into that to keep moving the company forward. And I think this was it's an excellent match. Like I would have taken Bandito to win, but I don't think anybody was under the presumption like Bandito was going to win. But that building was like, please, like we will take this. Like this on the table, we will take it for sure. But yeah.
So this is the next crop. Like so, basically Takeshita, Bandito, Andretti. Like this next crop of guys that they have, like basically put in matches, be really good, have really good matches, and lose until they eventually start winning at some point. Like whether it was Darby at the beginning, it was it's been a number of people, Garcia, Wheeler, other parts, Yuta as well. This is the next crop of it, seemingly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, and these guys are seasoned in a way, even like Yuta and Garcia, I think they're light years beyond those.
Wait, you mean to tell me that you think that Konosuke Takeshita and Bandito are better than Wheeler Yuta and Dane Garcia? Are you sure about that?
Light years better.
Okay.
So, so after that, we got a tape message from MJF. Also light years better this week, MJF, than last week.
That's good.
And he says he hears what everybody's saying about him. Everyone's being fickle. They've forgotten who he is and how he won the title. He told Danielson he's only been dealing with the match he's dealing with is only been about fun. But at Revolution, he doesn't want to see me basically because he's going to see the monster behind the mask and all this stuff. He was like dead serious here. So better. So we got a video package highlighting like between Saraya and Tony Storm and Karu Shida. Now this shit was funny. So Karu Shida's sitting there, right, with the kendo stick, and Saraya turns to Tony Storm and is like, "Hey man, these AEW girls, they don't, basically know what we know and all this shit." And Shida like looks in the camera like, "I can't believe they're saying this in front of me," and they're acting like I don't know the language. Like that's I'm like they think she doesn't know what she's saying. Like, and then that was pretty funny. They didn't announce that Brian Cage is going to face Bryan Danielson as Danielson continues to get all the matches I want Kenny Omega to have between Konosuke Takeshita, Bandito, and now Brian Cage. Like, MJF then had a pretty good segment with Cage. He walks up to Cage and Prince Nana, and he hands him an envelope full of money. He says, "This is more money than either of you have seen in your life," which is fucking hilarious because Prince Nana's right there. He's supposed to be like an African prince scammer gentleman. I don't know. And he basically said, "Hey man, I don't care if you win or lose. You need to break his arm," basically to Cage, and he slaps Brian Cage. Cage fires up, and they cool down after that, but he's like, "Hey man, use that anger next week."
Slapped him. Did he power slap him? I mean, I don't know.
he gave him a little quick, he tightened him up a little bit, but
we'll come. Wouldn't know he'd be proud.
Yeah. But yeah, man. yeah, I will be watching Power Slap as much as I can. I'm gonna record it.
You better watch it while it lasts for that shit get canceled. That shit is not for long.
Hey, I'm here for a good time, not a long time, baby. So
neither are them. That's gonna be off air real quick.
Yeah, man. So
doing sub Rampage numbers. What a better on a better day.
Maybe they should have just given Ring of Honor the time slot.
Oh, is Power Slap doing Impact numbers?
Dana White, what you doing?
Look, man, I don't know. I think we talked about it in the thing. Like the last 2 weeks, like the semi-main event and the main event access episodes of Wrestle Kingdom, like they have outdone Impact on access. Like, so
apparently Kenny Omega hurting Impact again.
Yeah, good point. Jay White too. Jay White, look, the USFJ, they're saying, fuck that, I'm out of here. I'm going to outdo you. While not even trying, I'm outdo you.
So up next, we got Willow Nightingale versus Toni Storm. This was okay. This wasn't like, they didn't go crazy or anything, but I smelled a rat the whole time. I was like, oh, these two baby faces against each other. And then they kind of set up what was happening here. And I just got to say, I am laughing and find it incredibly hilarious. They've already given up on Saraya and turned her heel. Like I said, would pretty much happen. Like, this shit ain't hitting. They're leaning into it, which is awesome. And it works out all better. There was like a distraction. And then Toni Storm rolled up Willow Nightingale. Willow's pissed, yelling at the ref. But then during the match, Sheeta walks out. Basically, they had told Sheeta to stay in the back. Don't even come out here or whatever.
I thought you said that they act like she don't speak English.
They did. So
so they pick and choose when they act like she don't know she don't understand. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Like many other, but Sheeta comes out. And she's just kind of watching. They do the turn. Saraya and Toni Storm jump on Willow Nightingale, and their heels. Ruby Soho comes out, makes a save essentially, and I thought it was going to be a swerve, and Ruby was going to jump on her, but Ruby and Willow had just teamed last week in that street fight, so they're standing together for now. But it looks like the battle lines are being drawn. The imports versus the home team, and
the import versus the home team, and Ruby Soho is on the home team.
Well, I think she's a candidate to switch sides personally, but I think this is a really cool storyline that they're doing, and I think anytime you kind of do this, I think a lot of people are thinking this can build up to Blood and Guts. I think they're going to get it. I think if you're going to do this, you got to get Jade involved. You got to break her out of the Jade universe. And I think you got to get Thunder Rosa back. And then Thunder Rosa turns on her own team because she still don't like them. And you make her a heel, and then that gives them something.
So that's another part about this why I'm just like, okay, from what I heard, I'm just like, okay. Like, isn't Toni Storm and Britt Baker, aren't they actually friends?
Yeah.
So and Toni Storm and Britt Baker on opposite sides. So Britt Baker is going to be, so like Thunder Rosa comes in, is like, he's going to have a full on either side she joins if she comes back to this, right?
But we know who she really don't like.
Never mind that. I'm thinking about this too far.
I mean, what beef does she really have with Toni Storm aside from like Toni Storm making some comments like Toni Storm lost
aside from the part where she basically buried
characters. Look,
that's not the part where she basically buried Thunder Rosa because Thunder Rosa got hurt or whatever else and couldn't put her over.
Do you think she's buried her an eighth as much as Britt Baker has buried her in that same amount of time? Like when she's like doing all those cute remarks and then talking about being a real champion and not missing time and like literally coming out and dancing on her grave with Jamie Hayter.
It might be different where it's like, look, I don't care what she has to say about her. Fuck her. But like you, like I actually respected you. You buried me.
Bro, she's definitely like, I think the move is like she turns on Jamie and Britt. She's heel. They go their own way with that. She's not necessarily aligned with the other folks, but then like there's somebody that comes in that could be like Jade or something. Okay. But I'm into it.
So kind of like what was it? When Dakota Kai
like
turned
Thunder
on the
Rosa
babyface team and War Games and left out, except like it happens early before the match happens, so someone else can come in.
Something like that,
Okay.
or Thunder Rosa walking out on her own team for not really like trusting her, like she's Sting, face paint, that's how it goes. But I think we're about to get the Britt and Jamie babyface turn, which I think a lot of people are gonna be happy about. I'll be happy about. Finally cheer the Doctor uninhibited. And Jamie's like obviously super over, so like I think she's necessitated a lot of this, and Paige and Saraya, like that shit, like I told everyone it was going this direction, like, but and it also kind of leaves like the door open for other people to get involved on their side. Like there's people like Athena that are out there that can hop on that side. There is she's not here yet, but there's Mercedes Moné that would easily slot in that other side. Also, who else? Like it'll call people into question, like TJ. Like if they're like if this thing like goes like the way of like WCW versus the NWO, are you with the Outsiders or not? Like that could split that team right down the middle. Like Tay, who you with? Because you came in way earlier, but they wrapped their arms around you like you was their own, but who you with? So I think it makes some compelling television.
We'll see. The idea of them having a match for an hour does not really do anything for me. That's what it comes down to.
All
like
10 bleeding.
Like
all 10 Mutoh scale. Let's go.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, that is a magic trick in these matches for a lot of these people. It's like, oh, they bled a lot. Let's overrate it by half a star. So
weapons.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But but honestly, like, I don't want to see like whatever group in the AEW Women's Division go wrestle for an hour. I just don't. But because look, I don't really want to see the men wrestle for an hour either. Like that's been the problem with some of these blood and guts, and also the War Games on WWE side. So if they want to do it, I commend them for their ambition. But like, I hope y'all got something innovative or something. And by innovative, I don't mean like, oh, women bleed. Like, yeah, I've seen it. Y'all do it a lot, or not do it a lot, but y'all notably done that in AEW. What else you got? Like, as far as like the wrestling action or the violence. So we'll see.
Let's see. And then we got the main event. We got Darby Allin versus Kushida. And I don't know what got into Kushida, but I feel like I haven't seen this guy try this hard in years. It was like I feel like he walked into this show and was like, somebody's gonna fucking push me somewhere.
So I saw someone say something similar, and I was like, he had a bunch of great matches in NXT too. It's just he wasn't pushed to win any of these things. I don't know. Like, I think people were so awful or so over on NXT by the time. Go ahead.
The last time we saw him in WWE, they threw him in the trash.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I get your point. But like
you know how they threw Jungle Boy in the trash, like, and I was pissed about that a couple weeks ago. Jake, or what's his name? Big Bill chokeslammed him in the trash.
Oh, I saw
to set up that tag match.
Okay, I saw a clip of that. Yeah.
And I was pissed about it. I was like, the last time we saw Kushida, they literally threw him in the trash.
Yeah, getting back to my point, like, he had killer matches in NXT too. Like, I don't know if people were just off him because, like, I'm not watching NXT anymore because, like, they're in the LA Fitness and, like, AEW is doing a lot better with the pandemic wrestling than they are. So, like, whatever they do, don't care. And that's fair if that's what you want to do. But, like, he was having killer matches. And, like, that Gargano match, what would you give this a star match for star rating?
I would probably go, like, 4 1/4 on this.
Yeah, like, that Gargano match is damn near 4 3/4. That match is incredible. That's, like, the last, like, really great Gargano match.
That's probably the last, like, Kushida match, too. I remember.
So, like, I don't know, man. Like, it really comes down to, like, if you were watching, like, it's not like the dude stopped learning how to be a great wrestler or whatever else. Like, you know, it's
just things haven't felt right with him. Like,
do things feel right? I mean, look, I haven't watched.
Like, even in New Japan, like, it hasn't felt right with him.
I was going to get to that. Like, so, like, you got to tell me, does it feel like it's 2019 again?
Bro, he like felt like completely refreshed, and it was like, I don't know if it was Darby that did it to him, but like he was in there trying to fuck Darby up, and Darby was like matching him, and it was like, yo, this is high level work here from Kushida. And it was like, yeah, I got a main event slot, I'm about to fucking take advantage of it. So I was into this heavy. This was just an example of why Darby Allin week after week makes a great case for being like the best like television wrestler. Like, I know Bryan Danielson has what he has going on, what he has going on right now, but like the way Darby different is way different. Like,
different approaches.
If you ask me who's way more over, it's Darby right now out of those two. And like bro, like, it's just
Danielson's
like,
a buzzsaw. Danielson's a buzzsaw, and Darby is like, he's like your you know, underdog babyface, gets his ass beat forever, takes incredible amounts of punishment, finds a way to fight back through craftiness and speed and technique that like is kind of uncommon, and some of the ideas he comes up with to make the crowd like really get into him. Like, he's a
crazy.
I think I've said this before. Like, I think he's one of the most underrated storytellers in wrestling. So yeah.
Like, there was a move where he did a dive on the outside of the ring, like, but he got his ass caught in an arm bar on the outside of the ring. Like, he got
like, caught with the Konami?
yanked him out of the air, yeah. While he was doing like a senton or some shit. It was like, all right, he would have did this to fucking Hiromu. So
so it was going for a coffin drop or no?
Nah, it was like he was doing a regular senton, it seemed like. And then he just like grabbed his leg kind of, but his arm too. It was weird.
Okay.
But this went off heavily. Love this. Love seeing Kushida coming out of retirement. That's great. Difference is Jack Perry got his win. That is true. Undisputed Era threw Kushida in the garbage. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but yeah, this was and it was like, yeah, Bill's Mafia brings up a great point. He's like, Kushida was coming off very dominant in this match, and Darby like barely survived. Darby won this match with his pinning finisher or whatever, that leg lock joint.
I know what you're talking about. I keep forgetting what
like the Last Supper or some shit like that.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot what the technical word for it is, but yeah.
Yeah, but another, like I said, another excellent episode, and this one like snuck up on you. Like, this was supposed to be like the off week or whatever. Maybe it's next week is the off week.
But the thing is, like, I think because there's so much so much crap on the Kushida the last couple of years that people forget to, like, he's one of the very best wrestlers in the world of the last decade. People forget that, like, yeah, he can go out there and have a 4.5-star match or whatever else if need be. Like it happens. It happens. Like, I'm sure. Go ahead.
I was going to say there was some interplay with like the LA Dojo guys that were there with him. The DKC and Kevin Knight were out there. Kevin Knight had a little moment with Sting. Essentially, basically, I think he was telling Sting to, like, you know, make Darby give up or some shit like that, or like, kind of, he got a little camera time with Sting, so that was cool.
Yeah, I was notified that Kevin Kelly, that Kevin Knight was out there, and I was like, hey man, I need to go ahead and put this on AEW Dark or Elevation or something. I need Kevin Knight versus Darius Martin. I need to see who has the best leapers in the game. I need to see that.
Dante.
I'm sorry, I said Dante, said Darius. I'm bad.
Can we rent Montez Ford for one night only so he can join as well?
Yeah, bring Seth over too. Yeah, put them for 4-way match for who see the best leapers in the game.
A ladder match where you don't got no ladder. You know, you just got to jump up there and get that bitch off the rope. You springboard your ass and grab that shot.
That sounds like some mini game from like Mario Party or some shit.
Let's see. Yeah, throw Mao in there too. Someone said.
Okay.
Said, did we discuss the Sting Darby Mutoh match? I did not see that match. I have not seen it either. I did see the entrances.
I'll talk about it next week. Next week's show solo.
I did see the entrances. Like, that Noah production team is undefeated. Darby looked. I hate to say it, larger than life, as well as did Sting. I saw a clip of Sting no-selling a dude that was chopping him. It was just hilarious. Sting got the stats I saw, so that was pretty cool.
What was his stats?
10, 10, 10, baby.
Okay,
That's
just want to make sure. I want to see what did they hold him on to give him a 9 on. I just wanted to know.
Yep. But yeah, man. So like I said, another episode of AEW that's just, up there. So
wait, hold on. Sting no sold the Murder Fuji chops?
That's funny.
Do you remember the Survivor Series 2019 when they had Walter in there with Strowman, and Strowman was supposed to no sell the Walter chops, and that shit hurt too much. He couldn't no sell it like the whole time. He had to like sell for a split second, and then he had to toughen up. Like Maru Fuji chops that hard, or if like you think he's finna no sell, it ain't gonna go according to plan. But yeah, I'm interested to see that, and I saw some pictures of Hakushi just bleeding buckets.
Yeah, Sting had knocked Hakushi off the apron and shit, and he took a crazy ass bump. Hakushi, 56 years old, looks great. Do you think Dax Harwood would like to cosplay as Bret Hart and wrestle him?
No, probably not.
Do we have to talk about Dax Harwood winning Wrestler of the Year in those Fightful awards and how shambolic that is?
I mean, we can right now if you want to.
Oh my God, this wasn't on the format sheet, y'all. But all right, man. Shouts out to my man Will Washington over on Fightful. Shout out to Reg and shout out to Phil. Love those guys. The people that have voted on this. This is absolutely shambolic. Stop the cap. When you say Wrestler of the Year, right? Y'all are going to stop treating Dax Harwood like he's Andre 3000. I'm going to just say it right now. There ain't that much of a big difference between him and Cash Wheeler.
Oh my God.
What are we doing here?
I was not expecting for Andre 3000's name to be used in vain like this.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, did Will Ospreay die? Did Jon Moxley die? Did Chris Jericho get in some type of awful, like, plane crash? Like, did the Men in Black flashy thing get used on all these people?
So
what was it? What was it? The podcast? Like, was it constantly staying in the news, or like what did it for y'all?
I could tell you what it was, right? Like, it's Fightful. You think of what their clientele is. Their clientele base is It is American pro wrestling. So the people that are overwhelmingly get votes for are people in AEW and WWE. There was no really great candidate except for maybe Gunther on the WWE side. So everything else is going to be like Moxley, Dax, Jericho, Danielson, if you're okay with the little bit of time you missed or whatever else, and what have you from there. So like once you throw that in and you start throwing in like the matches that you're able to have double dip in with like AAA or New Japan or Ring of Honor. Like, I thought that, like, if you would ask me, like, where would Dax finish for 2023 Fightful wrestler or most outstanding wrestler, I would say probably somewhere in the top 5. I was surprised that he won, but I for sure would have imagined him being in the top 5. Now, if this is Observer, he's not finishing the top 5. And we all know that.
I was just stunned at seeing this. I was like, the marketing campaign, this is like whoever ran this marketing campaign, they need to sell their services.
I don't think it's a marketing campaign. I just think it's different fan bases. Like, it's not like there aren't like, you don't go to Fightful to find out like scoops on New Japan or Stardom or Noah. You just don't. You're going there for WWE or AEW and maybe Impact. That's it. So that's kind of where you are. Like, who won Women's Wrestler of the Year? I guarantee you're going to see people in there be like, not in a million years would they finish the top 10 for any of this stuff.
Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, Jamie Hayter. Like, where would she place if there was a Women's Observer Wrestler of the Year? Where would she place? Would she finish in the top 8?
She would.
Oh yeah, because in AEW voting, you're right. But like in reality, she's not one of the 8 best women's wrestlers in the world this year. She had some really good matches. She had one match that peaked and would have been like the 12th best match in Stardom this year.
I just don't know in what world you vote for Dax Harwood over Jon Moxley. I would have
voted Moxley. I would have voted Moxley over him. Yeah,
like FTR Anon must be stopped. Like this is ridiculous. Like this is absolutely shambolic. This is like I feel like you got to throw the awards away.
I think the average wrestling fans like FTR more than we do. I just think that's the case, right? Like I don't like people that will think that, or for people that like imagine or not imagine. That's unfair to say. For people that like will vote for the dog collar match as like the best match of the year in 2023. Like there's a lot of those out there. I don't see it that way. I don't think you see it that way either. I just think we're different from what a lot of people are because we don't really like, because we think that the FTR stuff is them being assholes and grifters, or not really them, Bald, but
yes,
or Dax.
Him.
So I think that clouds how we feel about him and stuff he does, where we see like this all is a part of a scheme. And other people don't really see it as like, nah, he's just going out there and doing his damage. Like, nah, man, this man is trying to still, wrestler of the year. And he did in this particular publication.
Unbelievable. Like was he better than Konosuke Takeshita last year?
No.
On the same program?
No. Like his best match was his best match was the Ospreay match, right? His best singles match was the Ospreay match, right?
Come on, man. Yes.
Okay. Takeshita and Moxley. Takeshita and Page.
Was he better than Chris Jericho last year?
As a whole, as single? No, because like that Moxley match was better than any was better than the Ospreay match. So was Moxley, like the Wheeler match was better than that Moxley
Jericho
match
and
or
Kingston
that
at Revolution. Yes.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. The the 4-way for the ROH belt with Guevara and Claudio and Danielson. There's a bunch of that stuff. Anarchy in the Arena. Yeah.
Yeah. Some I don't know who, right? We named a lot of good options, but somebody was stolen from because these people think Dax Harwood is Andre 3000, James.
I don't know, man. I guess when he does his chops, it moves them in ways that like the other like dozens of people that do chops do. I don't know. Man. I don't know.
Unbelievable.
I think really honestly is like if most of your best work is your tag matches, I'm not going to vote for you for Wrestler of the Year. For other people, like unless you're Kenny Omega, like Kenny Omega's the only person that really got that exception. I don't know, like. You know how it is when it comes to like this kind of voting. It's year by year. People don't really like account for like prior precedents with this stuff. Like, there's no other person that ever would have been a person where most of their tag matches are literally their best matches, and like they get in for this. That never happens until now.
I just want to know what they think of Cash Wheeler in that case. Like,
he had, you know what it is. Like he only had a couple of his singles matches, and they'd be like, well. What does that even matter? And me and your argument is, well, what does it even matter? Like, all the best matches are the same match both of them are in. Tag matches.
Right.
Yeah. I know.
Like,
I know.
It's almost like, where do you have Big Boy listed in? Oh, you don't have him listed anywhere? You're just like disregarding him? Okay, I get it.
There was one publication, I forgot what it was, but like they had Dax at like 5, and then they had Cash at like 9 or something. I was like, okay. At least I can't be like, you're being consistent here. Like, you put both of them on there based on the tag work, and they're both here. And, like, Dax is ahead because he had more singles matches, so that's fair. I forgot what publication it was. It was American. I think it was Sports Illustrated, maybe.
I think it was that FSM 150 or FSM 50 shit that Voice of Wrestling runs. I believe. So
I can't remember. That could be it, though.
Yeah, man. So don't worry. The One Nation Radio Awards is going to correct all that shit. The real proper awards. I don't even believe I don't even believe FTR was nominated. Maybe, I'm not sure. I have to
for what would it be nominated for? Most Outstanding Wrestler?
Yeah.
Have we ever put a tag team on there? Maybe we put the Young Bucks on there?
Bucks have made it on there before. Okay, so let's see. Wow, a lot of responses. Okay.
I think that, I think also the thing that hurt us with nominations things, we didn't know what to do with AEW stuff. Or not AEW, the ROH stuff. Because we don't cover ROH like that. Like, we don't have Kaito Kiyomiya on our thing, so why we put them on there when her best matches are New Japan and what's it called?
I'm sorry. We gave the last 2 spots to Shuri and Saya Kamatani.
I mean, do you want to compare Shuri and Saya Kamatani's singles match guy to Dax's?
We do not.
Okay.
Who else do we have? Are we kicking out Tomohiro Ishii or Shingo Takagi? I don't believe we are.
No.
Brian Danielson or Kazuchika Okada? No.
No.
John Moxley or Will Ospreay? No. So,
yeah.
I
think it comes down to what you cover, man. Like, if you're not watching Japanese pro wrestling, and you're mostly covering just American pro wrestling, I can see, Dax doing so much better for you. Because, the only time you actually watch New Japan is to watch them. Or Kenny Omega. Now, this year.
Yeah. So Zeku Maki said he has a question that he didn't get a chance to ask last week. Go ahead, pop it in the section here, in the comment section, so we can answer it before we wrap this bitch up. But like I mentioned, until that question comes in, make sure y'all get the album. Help your boy out. We got a lot of new music out. I think there are that's a hot one. Matt Taven greater than Dax Harwood.
From what I've seen, I would say hell no, but I haven't seen that much Matt Taven.
So let's see.
I don't have a question, but shout out to Club Venus.
I mean, I remember you earlier you were saying the Shoe Pro thing. I was gonna let you know, hey man, are we sure they ain't just gonna put Club Venus on that bitch again?
Oh please. That's a good question.
Zekumaki says, with the Mercedes hype dying down, is it strange that she hasn't met the Stardom roster, nor not many of the roster has said much about her debut or being part of New Japan and Stardom?
I don't think it's necessarily strange. I just think that she has a separate deal and she doesn't really deal with them. And when she deals with whoever else, she'll deal with them as a person that she's having a match with or whatever else. So for example, I think after Wrestle Kingdom, the people that said anything, the one person I remember saying something was Kyrie in particular. I remember also Lady C saying something because Lady C, when she debuted, she had gear that was made, when I first saw it, was reminiscent of the arm, the arm sleeve thing that Sasha used to wear. I was like, it reminds me of Sasha. And then sure enough, Lady C said Sasha's the reason why I wore that arm sleeve thing. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense to me. I think one other person that mentioned something about Sasha, but you gotta remember, most of them were pissed that Tam Nakano went out there and only got 5 minutes in a fucking Wrestle Kingdom match. So there wasn't gonna be much said because they're not gonna go out there and bury the whole thing. So obviously they were upset about that, and they're within the right to be. And then Sasha, or I've seen Sasha she went to the LA dojo and wrestled. I mean, she doesn't have to come back to Japan for months. The match with Kyrie is that's what, February 18th. Yeah, yep. And it's in America, so there's no need for her to go over there right now. I just think people. I think people think there's heat. I don't think there's really real heat. I just think people are she's a stranger, and when she comes here, she won't be a stranger, but she hasn't came in yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I've still got my. I'm still like kind of like trying to see how this all works out here.
Same.
That I was not encouraged by that debut, but
Same.
you know, I hope she's just taking it serious and like she approaches this match like this is the biggest match of her career coming up, because I know you WrestleMania main evented and you know the day one of WrestleMania stuff, but like I feel like all eyes are on her right now, and it's like, all right.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure. They did create the whole thing for her. They created the belt for her. So yeah.
They, you know, you got the long reputation as being like, you know, how great you are, and then you're about to go to this other like class of wrestlers essentially to start plying your trade. So I think she's going to do well. I think she's going to. If it's the Sasha Banks that shows up or Mercedes Moné that shows up that has historically showed up, and it's not someone that is kind of checked out and like really just like kind of, I don't know, just not as like, just not as hungry as she once was, then I could see problems. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that too. Saying if the rumors are true, they didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay Mayu extra money. When you look at Bushiroad funny for giving all the extra money out to Mercedes, no, because it's a different play, right? Like the thinking is we bring her, we'll get the eyes that follow her to over here. They can see that like we have clearly superior women's wrestling, and they'll want to stick around.
I don't know how sound that strategy is,
right?
But
right, because you know, if it was reversed, like they think like in America had better women's wrestling, and they did that, then like Japanese fans would be more likely to want to watch the American women's wrestling was the superior one. That doesn't really. I don't think that's how that would track with it in the way that it's actually presented, because of like this weird thing where people think all women's wrestling is the same level of wrestling. Was like, no. Why, like, you can't tell that like these people are moving faster or hitting harder or are doing more intricate things or you know, better at set. Like it's weird. Like they can, like, it's really weird. Like you can tell, you can have the same person that's a quote unquote women's wrestling fan, like watch men's wrestling, and they can point these things out. Like they can tell you that like Rey Mysterio Jr. is a better wrestler than Baron Corbin. But then you once you like switch like the same equal difference in like skill in their women, they act like it's all the same. It's like you're not doing the same thing we're doing. You're not doing the same thing for both cases. It's weird. And I don't know, like it's just being supportive, I guess. I don't know. But I think it's like the toxic positivity type of thing, as opposed to like being real.
Question from JML. He says, if you're TK, how do you respond to Nick Khan calling him a kid? And also, more serious question: who is the wrestler on WWE's roster that would flourish in current AEW? I'll start with the first one. I mean, that kid stuff is not to be like really played with. People don't appreciate that. Imagine calling Chris Paul a kid. How do you think that will work out? You know, I think if you're Tony Khan, like, yeah, I'm a billionaire. Kid that. Like, I guess that's what you do.
I mean, it's obviously a nepotism shot.
Yeah. You know, if you're TK, you can go. Like, you've blasted Nick Khan in public before, so this was obviously coming at some point. So
that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Either you got to take it on the chin and just like let it ride, or you know, just go out there and be entertaining or something. I don't know, because it's easy to get people to be riled up about Nick Khan. I mean, Nick Khan was defending alleged rapist Vince McMahon on Bill Simmons' podcast this week, and his return and shit like that. And Nick Khan just whichever way the wind's blowing, that's where he is.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. The second one was who I think was flourished the most in AEW from WWE. Probably at this point I have to say Gunther. Just like,
yeah,
just ring the bell. just bring him in, ring the bell, and it's on. Like him and Darby would be fucking incredible.
They had a match in Evolve in 2018, I believe.
Did not know that.
I definitely can't say Cody Rhodes for this one.
I mean, he flourishes at the start, and then it comes down
to resolve. You know,
look, man, you gotta admit, the first 4 months of AEW, Cody Rhodes was one of the hot baby faces I've ever seen, and that man has managed to just clip my own wings, and
man, beat the brakes, man. But as far as somebody else, I think Drew McIntyre would do well.
Yeah.
And these are people that obviously have done well anywhere they've gone. So if I was taking it a step further and saying like, all right, this person's never really been out, obviously Ricochet would do great.
If we get the Ricochet I don't know. You think he might be complacent now? He's been there doing nothing for a while now. He might.
That man do love him some WWE draws, so I don't know.
It'd be like saying, like, would Seth do well if he's motivated? Like, of course Seth would do well, but like, would he be motivated? I don't know.
Yeah. I think take him off the leash. I think Kira Tozawa would do great.
Yeah.
So. I always like, you know, when I'm playing the video game or something and I want to have a good match with someone, I always fight like a Kira Tozawa.
How about a tag team? Let's go through tag teams.
Oh, give me the Street Profits all day.
Street Profits. I think that the team that would do the best outside of WWE would be the New Day.
Why is that?
Because they got overdoing shit that was distinctly not WWE to begin with by doing things that like they couldn't possibly write for them. They had to write that stuff out on their own, and it got them over huge. And like obviously, I think like, you know, if the Acclaim's gonna get over with, you know, scissor me daddy ass like Booty-O's and feel the power and the power of positivity, like as very much in line with all that kind of you know, goofiness, if you will, that I think like that would work. Now would they have had the matches to go with it if Xavier and Kofi? I think so. Like, well, but like, you know, the fact it was a 3-part team thing, like I think that would have got them over huge in AEW. And I don't think they would have done I don't think those three would necessarily make some of the same mistakes that some of the WWE guys have made, where it comes to like, I'm here, I'm expected to get a slot and like, you know, protected and do all the other nonsense of acting like I'm a star and have drawn money and you haven't. Like, I don't think they're going to go the CM Punk Saraya route.
Oh man, Seamus Nova says he put a fake Tony Khan tweet in there. He said, "I may be a kid, but I don't kid around with alleged rapist Vince McMahon. Watch AEW Rampage tonight on TNT."
Oh my god.
Hashtag made Walter fat again. Luthero Negro said Dragon Lee.
Yeah, of course. But you know, like they only brought Dragon Lee in for like one AEW match, right?
Yeah. They didn't, you know.
They did the Ring of Honor thing with they did the Ring of Honor thing with Roosh.
Street Profits are New Day and AEW would fucking rule. We finally get New Day versus the Elite. That would be like a clown show. Like they would be like, oh my god. Yeah. TV14 Big E. Garza and Huberto would kill it with the Bucks and Lucha Bros. Real Talk brings Tyler Bate out of retirement and give him versus Darby or Orange Cassidy.
That'd be awesome.
Now Zek Mike says, now the most important question, James. You really wasn't thinking about hitting that half-court heave.
Half-court? It's about Tam. I don't know. Okay, so now that we're on the air, because he asked this like before we started recording the podcast. Now we're on air. I don't know what it is about y'all to make y'all think that like, hey, you should just go out your way to just hit on women that have no idea that it's happening or actually like have the time to deal with that or whatever else. Like, do y'all just hit on people at the gym too? Cause like, I don't know if I told the story well or whatever else, but like I'm walking out the bathroom. She's walking to another spot. We catch each other and we're like, oh, hey. She's like, oh, you're wearing my shirt. And I'm like, oh shit, you're Tam Nakano. Literally like, not in like your gym warm up or whatever. I was like, she's actually like just in her wrestling gear, and she's walking towards like doing whatever she was doing with the camera following her. Like the idea that like I in a different language is going to stop her and try to talk to her, communicate to her that I want to do anything with her is like y'all have no room of self-awareness. What are y'all doing? So, are y'all really that much of a bull in a china shop? Because like that's really like what do you call it, uncouth?
Zeko Mike said, but it's Tam. Like not saying just women, like, but it's Tam.
Okay, so like I think Tam is an attractive woman, but like that ain't the person that I'm like most looking to do the act outside of myself for in Stardom. Right? That would be the Mina. But like even if there was Mina out there, I wouldn't be acting like that. Like I don't really do that. Like she's here to do her job. I'm here to watch her do her job. Like I don't really get into it like that. Rich, you've known me a long time. Do I ever really act like that?
That ain't James Speed.
Yeah, that's not my get down. No.
Brewhaven says, "Hey girl, you ever hang out with an American?" Man, innovative game right there from Brewhaven. Frank Leone said, "Not they all talk." Bill's Mafia sounds like excuses. James LJK LOL.
See.
Zekumaki says, "Nah, Jim negative, but Stardom. Man, I'm Wardell Curry going for the shot at the end of the quarter." You miss 100% of the shots you never take. James should have hit the Monet tweet and meowed at Tam. Jesus Christ.
Now that is wild. now that's an absurd thing to say.
James do the cartoon wolf howl.
Wow.
Tam from the countryside, I would have pulled out the big city maneuvers.
Now that's funny. That's a good one.
I love it. He
said he gonna pull out these city slicker moves on this motherfucker that speaks a different language.
What you gonna do, Lothario Negro? You gonna talk fast to her? Listen here, baby. Listen here, baby. You know.
Oh my god.
How about you and me? You know. Now all you gotta do is just, you know, just hand the phone like this, you know.
Raven said, "Hey man, language is just a barrier." Exactly.
You know, like, language ain't nothing but something to be overcome.
Yeah, you know what that? Yeah, it's something to overcome.
Love like transcends all.
Look, you talking about love. Language is a barrier. Yeah, you know what that barrier is? It's a segregator. It's to keep my ass from her ass. That's how that works. Are you not American? Do you not know how that works?
We do have an international audience here, so you know.
Yeah, see. I mean, I'm asking my honesty. Do you not know how that works?
He's Canadian.
Okay. Do you speak French?
Oh man.
Wait for the answer. This is what the show has broken down into now. I'm waiting on the answer. No. All right, take your ass to Quebec and see and start spending some game then, talking that shit. You raised a good point. Thank you. That's where I'm getting at. You know, you finna pull up and talk about, I'm supposed to go over here and talk about konnichiwa, like he's supposed to go over there and talk about va-va-vu-vu. Like, no, that's how this works.
Hey, man, you go down to the Dominican Republic, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out.
Now, I think that's like the passport bros thing, and like, we don't do that. We don't do that over this way. We do not do that over here. You will not be hearing about James going to Brazil or Colombia or Thailand. None of that. No, not happening.
Shoot, Puerto Rico, you know, this is Puerto Rico.
Oh,
wrap this up.
Yeah, man. So that's it. The show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate on app or whatever app you're using to listen to this with. I'm going to put in the show description the link to Rich's new album in the from Pay Hip. So go to the if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to go to the show notes or description and find that there. If you're listening from the on the stream, you can hit us up on our Cash App or our PayPal. And then if you for donations, you go to our World Circle link in the show notes and description and drop with a donation there. And be sure to listen to the other shows on the network. You got One Nation Radio, Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, 8-Bit Suplex, the Grave Consequence Podcast, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, Get in the Ring, and Meet the Press Slam. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
I'll see y'all in a few weeks.
With the Kroger Plus card, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. Earn fuel points on every purchase and save up to $1 a gallon at the pump. The Kroger Plus card. All you do is win. Big, big savings. Sign up now at Kroger.com and start saving. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save more on natural and organic items. Just clip your digital coupons on our app and use them up to 5 times in one transaction with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.